Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am your host, God of Heroics, and today we're going to be talking about the patch notes for Sparking Zero. The gameplay that you're going to see is pre-patch, and that is very important. So, without further ado, we're just gonna jump right into this. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the page, and hit the notification bell so you can be updated to all future uploads. So, Dragon Ball Games on Twitter, mind you. I actually do follow them, but I did not feel like going all the way through them, especially since I was already watching a video on these patch notes. LotusAsakura is the one who I got these screenshots from, so if you want to watch his video, go ahead, especially because he's going to go into far more detail than I will in this video. He's way more passionate about this than I am, but either way, his points are important, and I don't 100% agree with everything he said, but for the most part, I do agree with him, and we're going to get into all that right. So, Dragon Ball Games tweeted out a while back before the patch. I think it was maybe like 5-6 days before the patch. They said an update patch for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is planned for around late October. It will include, and then they give this whole list of things that they plan to fix. It says improvement of an issue where some controls become unresponsive during online matches when classic controls are selected. Adjustment of difficult levels when playing certain stages and episode battles on lower difficulty settings, adjustments of Yajirobe stats, and improving operational stability. So, real quick, so what they meant by the first part when they said unresponsive controls, basically there's two things that happened. In DP battles, there were a lot of people that were experiencing issues where they could not switch characters, and that turned into basically a whole thing. And there was also another issue that I personally experienced a lot. I didn't experience the DP battle issue, but I experience this a lot where when I'm online, basically there's sometimes I'm locked out of a whole move. They'll make all my controls basically be L2 triangle for my specials, and that becomes an issue because if I want to use L2 triangle or L2 up triangle, basically my blast 1 or blast 2, if my blast 1 and 2 both cost 3, then I'm just locked out of doing my blast 1, which is usually something like a Kamehameha or another beam or something like that. With Diamond Goku's his quick rush. So essentially I get locked out of that, and sometimes if my character's blast 2 costs 4, I still get locked out of blast 1 for some reason, even if my blast 1 costs 3. Not entirely certain why this is an issue or why this issue happens, but yeah, no, that's a huge problem, and it's really not fun. It's really irritating. Like, I can still win matches, but you know, I would like to have access to all my moves. So that's what they mean by that. And with the difficulty adjustments, basically they were saying that when you lower the difficulty, that it's going to be easier than it is even now. But if you don't lower the difficulty, the normal difficulty is still going to be its regular. Difficulty. It's just, you know, now that if you lower the difficulty, you get a much more easier fight than you would if you lower it before the patch as opposed to after the patch. And then obviously there's operational changes and the Yajirobe stuff we're going to get to in just a second. Also, they tweeted this today during the day that the patch went live. Says the patch is now live. Also, we are aware of some remaining issues and are investigating. So these issues are corrupted data, character rank resets, connection errors, online issues, and then they apologize for it. They said they're basically going to work on it, and they're thanking us for our patience. So these are issues that have not been fixed. I've heard that these are big issues. I personally, again, have never experienced these. I should probably be called the blessed one at this point, because a lot of people experience issues in games that I don't. And that's not to say that I never experience any problems, because obviously I just talked about how I get locked out of some of my moves. But most of the really, really bigger issues I never experience, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that too, because the Yajirobe stuff also never really affected me. So, yeah, this is stuff that is probably going to be touched on in the very next patch. I'm really glad I'm not the only person that experienced that glitch of being locked out of my moves, because for a while it felt like it was. Every time I would mention it, nobody else would know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it is definitely a bug, and this guy, Lord Balvin, said the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero patch fixed the classic standard controls bug. So if you didn't know, this issue happens when someone using classic controls meets someone who's using standard controls, and the person using classic controls is the one that gets locked out of their move. I don't know why that happens. No one really knows, but yeah, he says standard players can tag out, and classic users can now use their supers. Thank God. He says tagging now feels uh, way more responsive. It felt way, he said, I felt way less input delay since pre-patches. So, yeah, it's good to know that these things are actually working out. I personally haven't hopped on the game yet to experience it, but I definitely will. The next few videos that I have coming out are, well, one video is going to be alpha patch. It's going to be after the patch, and then for a little bit, there's going to be maybe 2 or 3 videos that come out that are going to be pre-patch, and it is what it is. But yeah, I will test out the patch for my next video for after probably Sunday's video, because the next few videos I have coming up are going to be reviews for Daima, and then I'm going to have some more stuff coming out. So definitely be on the lookout for those. So the really big change that they made, aside from fixing those, is the Yajirobe stuff. So LotusAsakura, whose video I'm going to put in the description below, because I used a lot of his stuff for reference about what's really going on, because he actually tested the stuff I haven't gotten to yet. He says Yajirobe Senzu skill now costs 6 skill points instead of 5. Also, he now starts a match with 0 skill counts instead of 2. His health has also been reduced from 3 bars to 2.5. Now, he gives a lot of reason why this is good. Personally, I've never experienced any of the Yajirobe issues. I know that, like, in team battles, there are a lot of people who put Yajirobe for the sake of stalling. People don't actually play Yajirobe for the sake of skill. And they just put him there so they can stall with the Senzu beans, and with the skill counts going up as fast as they do, and starting off with 2 skill counts, you go up to 5 relatively quickly. Now, I personally haven't had an issue with this, because I just beat Yajirobe's ass. I'm pretty sure the match that's currently playing, you've already seen me waste Yajirobe before he got to use his Senzu bean, and it's because, again, like, I play the game and use skill. People that play Yajirobe play the game to stall, so I just kick their asses. It's not really that big of an issue. For me, at least. I know it's an issue for a lot of people, especially I heard there was a tournament that went down where a lot of matches were like 20 to 40 minutes long just because of Yajirobe character players stalling. Personally, real quick, I would say that for those players, I would personally disqualify them just for doing that, because they're intentionally doing that instead of actually playing the game and wanting to fight. But on top of that, I would also put a timer in the matches just so stuff like that doesn't really happen. And but overall, with Yajirobe, nobody plays Yajirobe to have skill. Again, they just play him to stall. And you'll see in this current match that's playing, this guy has a Yajirobe, and you'll see how I really deal with him. Pretty much, you just got to rush him down, beat his ass, hit him with blast, and, just be a superior player to the Yajirobes, because they don't know how to play the character. They don't want to play the character. They just want to stall. Nobody plays Yajirobe because they like Yajirobe, or at least 99% of the players that pick him don't actually like the character. And I know they don't like the character because nobody talks about him, and they didn't start talking about him until Sparking Zero came out. They talked about him anytime they talked about, Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and they talked about some busted characters. They talked about Yajirobe, but all in all, most people didn't even talk about Yajirobe like that. Hercule got way more clout than Yajirobe did, which is actually insane, because Yajirobe is stronger than Hercule in like every game that he's in. So, you would expect people to talk more about the character that actually has some skill and can heal. But, far be it from me. And I know they don't really like this character, because the one time they should have talked about him in Dragon Ball Super, when we found out that he survived in Trunks' timeline, nobody said anything about being happy Yajirobe survived. Nobody was like, oh, that's my goal, let's see him do anything. Nobody cared. Literally nobody cared. They were just like, oh shit, Yajirobe survived. And then they kind of just moved on with their lives. Like, that is actually insane that people are caring no more about Yajirobe now. And there's a lot of people on Twitter that are hating these patches, these fixes. They're complaining, saying that you killed the character, calling it Clown World. And it's, go watch Lotus's video again, because he goes more into detail with that. He actually shows all the tweets and stuff that people have been saying. I'm not going to go into all that, because I don't give a shit. I never had a problem with this character, and I never played or really cared to play this character. But what I will say is, this is definitely a fix. My personal idea was just to maybe take away 1 or 2 of his skill counts from the beginning of the match, have him start with 1 or 0, and then slow down like how fast his skill counts go up. But I don't think characters have specific skill count speeds. I think everybody's skill counts go up at the same rate. So then if you did that, then you'd either make his skill counts go up at a unique rate, or you would be slowing down everybody's skill counts in general. And either way, that would not be that great of a fix. But what I do like is that this works out. Giving him six skill counts for Senzu Bean is great because now he has to wait an additional amount of time. And on top of that, they did reduce his health by half a bar because he starts out with three health bars instead of two. Every character that is a 2 DP character, like him, there's Cyberman. Think Kui might be 2. He might be 3, but Videl is definitely a 2. Those characters start off with 2 health bars, and it's weird that Yajirobe's the only one who starts with 3. I never really complained about it because I never really noticed it that crazy. I mean, I play Videl from time to time, and I still never even noticed it, but it's not really an issue for me, again. But I do understand that people that actually have to deal with that nonsense, especially if they, for whatever reason, can't defeat Yajirobe in time to stop him from using Senzu Bean. It can be an issue for you guys, and I'm glad that you guys got that fixed. A lot of people's complaints is that, oh, well, they said the dev said they didn't want the game to be balanced and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure what they meant was that obviously OP characters are going to be OP and weaker characters are going to have to struggle, meaning like your Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's, your Master Ultra Instinct Goku's, those characters are going to be extremely overpowered and it's going to be really hard to deal with those characters. But then if you get characters like Fidel and Cyberman and Kui and Hercule, those characters are going to really have to step up their game, or in general they're just going to be weaker, start off with less health, have weaker damage. And all the characters in the game do have stats, by the way. I saw a video not too long ago that went over the character stats. I think it was a slow plays video, or maybe it was somebody else. I can't remember. But anyway, I did watch a YouTube video where somebody went over the stats, and every character does have their own unique stats. And that does come into play with how much DP that those characters cost. So this change to Yajirobe's not that bad, but I feel like with changing the Senzu Bean skill count to 6 and then also taking away his 2 skill counts at the top of the match, that just giving him or taking away rather half a health bar just felt like bullying at that point. Like, you didn't really have to do all 3 of those. I get it. I get why they did it. It's just that in my opinion, I felt like it was a little too much. Like, if you want to take away his 2 skill counts, fine. If you want to take away half the bar, that's fine. But I feel like doing all 3 is unnecessary. Like, pick 2 of the 3. But either way, this is definitely going to help out a lot. Even with him like losing half a bar, I know that people are complaining about that. These Yajirobe stallers are mostly the ones complaining because nobody else really plays Yajirobe for any other reason except the 1%. But even those people, like, they can complain, but at the end of the day, Yajirobe still has more health than the other players, like the other 2 DP cost characters. He has more health than all of them. So you guys can complain all you want, but at the same time, you have more health than the other 2 guys. Like, if I pick Fidel and my opponent has Yajirobe, then it's like, okay, you still have more health than me. Like, you can't complain, right? And I don't know if you're watching the match that's currently going on in the video, but Yajirobe, he just used Senzu Bean. Like, for a while, I was on his ass. I was trying to beat his ass as much as possible, use my specials, and then he used Senzu Bean. But you're going to see right here that because I'm a more skilled player than this guy, no hate to the actual player, but I know how to get my moves in a lot better. I know how to deal all this crazy damage because I'm playing Super Broly. Like, defeating him, his Yajirobe's not going to be that big of a deal. He's not stalling for much. Like, the amount of damage that I'm doing to him at the rate that I'm doing it, I'm going to finish him before he even gets to 5 stocks. And to be honest, if I was that crazy of a player, I probably could have stopped him from even using Senzu Beans in the first place. Or if we were on like the World Tournament map where it's much smaller, definitely would have stopped him. But you see, in order to heal Yajirobe, he switched characters. And even then, I'm just going to kill this character. It's not that bad of a problem. This is what I meant when I said that this was never an issue for me. Like, even pre-patch, Yajirobe didn't matter to me. And now that he's been patched, he's definitely not going to mean anything to me. It's not going to be an issue no matter what. And, I'm glad that you guys got your fixes. I'm not going to complain. But the people that are complaining about these fixes, they're just complaining because they don't get to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted Yajirobe to have 3 health bars. They wanted his skill count to stay at 2, and they were complaining like, "Oh, you guys said the game was going to be unbalanced, and now that it's unbalanced, you're complaining and you want everything fixed." And some people are saying, "Oh, you killed the game, blah blah blah." Like, y'all are doing too much. You're just complaining for the sake of complaining. I feel like people just like to argue, like, for no reason, really, like no valid reason. And if you want to argue, if that's what you want to do, then just say that. But at the end of the day, Yajirobe was never that big of a deal, at least for me. If he was an issue for you, then I mean, go ahead, post some videos. Like, you can send me links to videos if you want on anything. Like, you can tag me in something on like Twitter or Instagram, or you can send me some TikTok videos. Like, tag me in the comments of TikTok videos so you can show me, I guess, what kind of issues you guys were having with Yajirobe. But as you see, I never had this real problem with him. So, I mean, it is what it is. If you had a problem with Yajirobe, you had a problem with Yajirobe. And I'm sorry that I've been ranting so much about this, but it is what it is. Like, if you guys feel like the changes were necessary, that's fine. Lotus himself feels like the changes were necessary. I disagree with him. I've been following Lotus for a while, and in most cases, I usually agree with his takes. But in this particular situation, I mean, it's not like I'm saying that he's wrong or that I don't agree with him fully. It's just like, while I do agree that the changes were necessary to make him an official 2-point DP cost character and to really fit him in with the characters that are, of the weaker tier, I honestly never really had that big of a problem. Like, I've been playing DP battles for a while now. Like, originally, yeah, I was playing singles and doing tournaments, but I started playing DP battles to do like the themed videos and stuff. And there's not a lot of Yajirobes that I personally experienced. Maybe it's a PC problem because I play on console, but I haven't experienced a lot of Yajirobes, and the ones that I do don't really outlast me with the whole 5 skill count nonsense because I just beat the shit out of them. And it's not even because I'm playing Broly in this video. Like, this is the first time I've actually played Broly in a DP battle. Every other time that I've done DPs, you guys have seen the characters that I play, like the kind of teams that I pick. Because, I've been doing DP battles only for the videos. It's not like I play DP battles outside of the videos. I do them for the themed videos. And sometimes I'll go into practice, play the characters a little bit just to see like what kind of stuff they do. Sometimes I just figure it out in the middle of the match, like the last video I did where I played Bergamo and Scouter Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Like, I just did that just for the sake of the video. It is what it is. But if you hate it and hate Yajirobe's changes, I personally believe that you just don't care about how the game actually should function or how weaker characters should function. And I think you just wanted to be able to time your enemies out, and now you're just crying because now you have to actually either be skilled with the character or pick somebody that you can possibly be a little bit better than, be better with. So, like, if you really like Yajirobe, just play Yajirobe. Like, for example, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but Tekken 8. I played Tekken 8 for a while, like since the game came out, up until, well, Sparking Zero came out, and my main in that game was Azucena. And I know a lot of people hate Azucena. It is what it is. But I played her the whole time. Even though she got nerfed into the ground, literally every single patch. Every single patch of Tekken 8 nerfed Azucena in some way. And even though that was the case, I did not care. I still played Azucena. And I ranked her up. I didn't get into like Tekken King or Tekken Emperor or fucking God of Destruction or anything. But I ranked her up a decent amount. I believe I got her to like Flame Ruler or something like that. And it wasn't even that crazy. Yeah, there are a lot of matches with other characters, like if I was trying to rank up Jin or rank up Leo, I was really struggling. But with Azucena, even then, even with all the nerfs, I didn't care. I just was still beating people up. Like, a lot of the tactics that I used, I wasn't using cheap, gimmicky tactics just to outlast my enemy or to get cheap hits. I was genuinely learning the character's combos and stuff and figuring out how that character works. And then with all the nerfs, I was like, oh, well, this move is just going to do a little bit less damage, or this move that I'm about to do is just going to, instead of knocking them this way or letting me continue my combo, it's going to knock them that way, or it's going to ground my enemy, or it's going to cause a spin now, or it's going to do this much damage, or the frame rate has changed or whatever. So I'll find an alternative, or I'll just use it in a different situation. It's always about adapting, learning to adapt. Like, yeah, your character has 2.5 health bars now, and you don't get those free 2 skill counts. Oh boy, just learn to play the game, learn to play the character, use your skills. Like, it's not that difficult. In fact, a lot of the fundamentals in this game can be applied to multiple characters. You just have to be willing to take the time to learn that character. If you actually want to play Yajirobe, then play Yajirobe. If you're complaining that they made these changes, then you're just being a crybaby ass bitch. And I'm sorry that I say it that way, but that's just how it is. It's really just how it is. So, again, like, to conclude this video, pretty much, I don't believe these changes were necessary for me specifically, but if they're planning to make a tournament scene, I would say this does make sense. It does make sense if that's the case. And to be fair, just to balance the character with the other two DP cost characters, then yeah, sure, go ahead and do that. Yeah, I wouldn't have even cared if they gave Yajirobe a 3 DP cost. I really wouldn't have gave a shit. But I mean, if these changes are going to be the changes they make, I'm not even going to complain. I didn't play him to begin with, and I didn't have an issue with the character at all. But with all the complaints that I was hearing and all the stuff that people were mad about before the patch, I can definitely say that the patch was necessary. I don't think all 3 changes that they made were necessary. I personally would say, in my opinion, just pick 2 instead of the 3, and just go with that. Probably the changing not his DB cost, changing his beginning skill count 100% necessary, because starting him off with 2, even though he's a 2 DP cost character, kind of insane. And whether you want to change Senzu Bean to 6 or take away half a health bar, I literally don't give a shit. But I feel like you should just pick one of the 2. Anyway, I've been ranting about this for a while. It is what it is. Like, everybody has their opinions, right? But the thing that I was most happy about was being able to use all my moves now. I'm gonna test it out because I have a video coming. It's probably, like I said, I think it's gonna be Sunday's video where I'm gonna be playing Piccolo and Gohan, actually, mentor and student. If I can expand that team a little bit more than just Piccolo and Gohan, that's great. But mostly I do want to play Team Gohan, at least on stream, because I've played him a little bit in tournaments and stuff. Not on stream, but in video. I can stream it. If you guys want me to stream it, let me know. But like I was saying, I played him in a tournament before in the Yamcha games. He's pretty fun. But there's a specific reason I want to use Team Gohan. He's definitely one of my favorite characters, and I think partnering him up with Piccolo is going to be even more fun. Especially since I did Piccolo stories, so I know how he works a little bit, but I want to see if I can make him function a little bit more in a team setting. Another thing that I want to do is start doing 2-man teams in DP battles, just to make it a little bit harder, because sometimes I have this issue where you've probably seen it in this video, where like the beginning, probably first match or first 2 matches, if I have a team of 3 and I'm supposed to work them all within a certain gimmick, then I usually end up only using 1 or maybe 2 of them. So I do want to see if just doing a duo would make that a little bit easier for me. But anyway, that's going to be pretty much it for me. I gave my opinions and I gave the information in the notes. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and like the video, subscribe to the page, all that stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.